All right, quick job here today. 1995, 1.8 liter Celica. So this is one that's classified as an at200. So this is a regular old Celica ST. I ordered a brand new replacement, not a reman. We'll see how it does. And it's a pretty straightforward job. So hopefully I can make this nice and easy for everybody. Tools we're going to use today. Most commonly, as most people know if they're already working on some Toyotas, is 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 14 millimeter. You don't have to have a ton of tools to work on a Toyota. You know, they're really pretty forgiving. You know, about every size in the car, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 19, and 21 does almost everything. You know, sometimes there's a fine line between not taking apart enough stuff and taking apart too much. Sometimes we just got to get some stuff out of the way to make our lives a little easier, and on top of that, so that we can see a little better what's going on down here at the alternator. So I'm taking the relay box off the relay box bracket, and then I'm going to take the two 6 millimeter, 10 millimeter head bolts out to hold the bracket, get the bracket out of the way, and it should provide everybody with a good view and give me plenty of room to work on this thing. Not a big deal. There we go. That's out of the way. Add a little bit more light to the situation here. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. I don't normally unhook the battery. Not usually worry too much about that. I'll take this power cable off the alternator first. Just out of habit, put the nut back on there. I'm sure the new alternator probably comes with a new nut, but you never know, if I lose it while I'm working on it, I'll know where to find it. So, the connector, there's one button on the top side. You don't have to peel this rubber boot off. You can push a button through the boot, and you probably have to get a few fingers on it and give it a good wiggle to get it out of the connector. Okay. It'll only go in one way. You can note the orientation when you took it apart, and you can notice that the clip tab is going to be facing up. So that'll be an easy reference there. Okay. Next thing, we'll need to back the tension off the alternator. So how it works is, this is the pivot, so we definitely have to loosen that, and then it slides down below on the lower bolt. Okay. And generally, if you just get the new alternator and you look at it, you know, look at the new part, compare it, make sure everything looks to be oriented properly. But the other thing is, we can look and figure out where all the bolts are at. So we got the one that it pivots on, and then we've got the adjuster end. I don't really need to see it. I can reach down there, feel where the bolt's at. It's either going to be a 12 millimeter or 14 millimeter. We're going to loosen that up, and then we're going to back off the adjuster. I'm going to try the 14 millimeter first. Nope. Bad guess. 12 millimeter. I like a gear wrench. You could use a ratchet down here. Wouldn't be a big deal. Easy enough to get down there. Okay, then I've got, there's a tension bolt. So just loosening that bolt isn't going to back the adjuster off until you loosen and back off the adjuster slider bolt. There's a bolt that provides that adjustment. Now it looks like it might be frozen up. We might be taking that adjuster out to fix it. So I'm going to take the bolt all the way out of that one then, down below. the adjuster slider bolt, and then we're going to go right to the top bolt. All right. Again, we could use a ratchet here. It was helpful. Usually if I know I'm doing a job like this, I might spray a little penetrating oil on the threads. This engine's pretty clean under here. It's not a real rusty vehicle at all, fortunately. All right. So there's that pivot bolt. Let's lean on it a little bit and we'll get the belt lifted off the pulley. See, that's why most people unhook the battery. I guess some people would get a little freaked out about that. I've done this so many times. I've made some sparks in my day. Hopefully I didn't blow the fuse. Okay, so now we got a cable fastener under here to unhook. That came off of something. I can just see where that came from. Get a pick here. Okay, pop the clip loose, alternator out. Now let's see what's going on with this confounded adjuster here. It looks like we've got a real rusty adjuster. So I'm going to hit that with some penetrating oil. And we'll see if once we put it back in there, if she's going to cut loose for us or not. Okay. Now, this is going to seem loose. How it works is this slides in here, the steel sleeve inside the aluminum body. When we tighten the bolt, it pulls that sleeve down and it'll snug the fit up. Not a big deal. All right. Okay. And get this bolt started here. Adjustment. And the next thing we got to do is we got to get it through the adjuster slide and then into the threaded block. Okay. Get the bolt back on, or the belt back on here. Now, okay, got the belt down under that pulley, and I guess I'm going to take this bolt back out. I'm going to get it. Get the belt back on. Now let's see if I can get this adjuster lined up. these serpentine belts don't have to be especially tight. So even though that adjuster is a little frozen up, I'm just going to lift up on the alternator and get some tension on the belt. Tighten up the adjuster bolt. Feels good. We shouldn't have more than, I don't know, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of deflection when we push on it with our finger. If I start it up and I get some squeal now and then when I got a heavy charge going on, I'll circle back around and I'll readjust that belt and get that adjuster freed up at a later time. Like I said, that tab for the connector, we look at the orientation, that was facing up. Boom, piece of cake. All right. Okay. And then we'll put Sparky back on here. All right. That's pretty cut and dry. Again, you know, if you're worried about making sparks, unhook the battery. Otherwise, we just got to make sure we don't get a wrench between power and ground. That's all. Don't touch anything metal. It'll be fine. So, doesn't have to be crazy tight. You don't have to lean on those things. All it's got to do is keep that eyelet clamped onto that terminal, and it's all we need. Get the boot back on. Looks good. Okay, and I will tighten up that top bolt. And we should be able to start the car right up, and everything should be ready to go. Okay, I grabbed my voltmeter, so when I start it up, I'm going to check the charging voltage, and we'll see what we get. So let me go start this baby up. Check the voltage. Well, the charge light went out immediately, and we don't have to be afraid of a voltmeter. We don't have to worry about causing any damage. We're just checking voltage. Oh, it doesn't like the spark plug wires. Did you see that? That was interesting. There we go, 14.2526 volts. We're good to go. So that's it. Nice and easy. Nothing to be afraid of, and no reason to pay someone to fix your car. So hopefully somebody will find that one helpful. Easy task. Don't be afraid to wrench on your own stuff. There's nothing wrong with being YouTube certified. Have a nice day. Bye.